Good afternoon, fine people of the internet. Welcome back to Maverick Baking and welcome to another very chocolatey chocolate review. If it's your first time or if it's been a while, my name is Kelly and it's lovely to have you here. And I'm very excited to be talking about two brand new products, or at least that's what it says here. Today we're talking about Ferrero Rocher. We're talking about two brand new kind of entries in the Ferrero Rocher bar line. So already we have the white, the kind of classic milk, the dark, and also the Raffaello version. Today we are going to be talking about two new ones that have appeared on the shelf: the milk chocolate with macadamia, of all things, and the dark chocolate with salted caramel and hazelnut. Let's start with the milk and macadamia, just because to me it's the one that is the most interesting. While this does have a kind of milky, nutty filling, 9% of said filling is hazelnut, and 3%, folks, 3% of that filling is going to be macadamia. So it might have a taste as bold as soy sauce, or we may not taste it at all. But let's get into it and find out. Opening up, we have the kind of cardboard container. We have gold foil, which does make a very enticing sound. It smells like milky, nutty chocolate, though it does smell more hazelnut than anything else. You can see on the kind of design on the bar there that we have the little Ferrero Rocher dimply kind of bits to resemble the kind of classic truffle. We also have the branding on there, so we've had a little bit of effort, which we like to see. No snaps, but that is to be expected from a filling like this. And in here you can see that there is a kind of creamy, milky, nutty vibe going on inside that milk chocolate. Very thin on top, a little bit thicker on the bottom. Let's see how it tastes. It's giving Kinder and Ferrero Rocher combined. The question you may want to ask is, does it taste of macadamia? No. The main flavour here is milk and sugar. It's milk chocolate. The Ferrero milk chocolate is very sweet. It's very creamy. There's a big sugar content in there. This is no different. Sugar is the main ingredient, followed by cocoa butter and then milk powder. So it's not surprising that that's the main thing you taste. Like the filling of those kind of milky kids Kinder bars. It's that. A taste of milk and sugar with a little bit of hazelnut. That's it. There's some pieces of hazelnut in there that add a little bit of texture so that it's not all just kind of squidgy melty. The squidgy melty is tasty and it gives a little bit of a vibe of a Ferrero Rocher, but not as much as the normal bars, the normal kind of truffles do, because of course there's a slightly smaller hazelnut impact. It's also a lot less chocolatey. You know, a Ferrero Rocher is a very chocolatey chocolate. This is much more milky. It almost feels like you're eating white chocolate. If I were to give this to you and ask you to guess what was inside, not in a month of Sundays would you tell me you tasted macadamia. It's just very sweet and very creamy. That's it. Hazelnut lovers will probably enjoy this. If you're a fan of Ferrero or Kinder products, I don't think this will be any issue for you to enjoy. It's pleasant. Does it deliver for lovers of macadamia nuts? Does it give that kind of creamy savouriness that those nuts do provide? No. I like the diversity. I like the idea. It just hasn't been executed as well as it could be, in my opinion. You need to up the macadamia content and maybe reduce a tiny bit either the sugar or the hazelnut content in there. So I will give this a very middle of the road 3 out of 5. Interested to now get into the darker edition of the day. And by that I mean the salted caramel and hazelnut version. When reviewing salted caramel products, the potential problems are two. One is that the caramel is simply a fake caramel flavour added afterwards. There is no caramelized sugar in there whatsoever. Despite the fact that caramel is one of the easiest ingredients, the easiest flavours to obtain. You can even turn it into powder, you can turn it into liquid, someone's probably turned it into gas. It's almost always just an added artificial flavouring, and it stinks and it doesn't taste good. The other issue, especially when they decide to use the word salted in the title of the product, is there's never enough salt. So few brands, especially the big mainstream ones that sell in the entire world, that have an endless budget, never have the huevos to add enough salt into the product. They always just add the tiniest bit, and it doesn't give that sweet and savoury thing that makes you salivate that salted caramel should. All that said, that might not be the case with this bar, but those are my two biggest fears when it comes to any kind of salted caramel product that's new. So this has a 70% cocoa exterior, but the filling looks like it's going to be a similar kind of milky filling to this one. There is, though, caramel listed as an actual ingredient. A powdered kind of buttery milky caramel is listed as an ingredient, already a plus. And we're looking at about 2.5% hazelnut, pieces of broken up caramel in there. There is butter in there. There are also added flavorings though. So let's see. That already gives me hope that we're working with something a bit more sophisticated, something a bit more thoughtfully made, but you never know. Very, very strong smell of caramel, to the point that you barely get that kind of chocolate smell. Slightly more snap, probably due to the fact that we have dark chocolate here, but you can see that the ratios are about the same. We have a thin layer of dark chocolate on top, slightly thicker layer underneath. Strong caramel smell, and almost smoky smell from the filling. Let's see how it tastes. Here, folks, I am sincerely, pleasantly surprised, I have to say. A couple of seconds ago, I said that the main kind of problems of a salted caramel product are the fake caramel flavour, potentially, and the lack of salt. Thankfully, this passes the test. There is no fake caramel flavour in there. The caramel you were tasting is the flavour of actual caramelised sugar. Good, thumbs up. However, we're missing salt. We are lacking salt. Dark chocolate comes in big, bold and strong. It's what we like to see. It's not too sweet either, and in fact, checking the ingredients list, this one, which I thought was going to be heinously sweet, actually contains 10% less sugar than this one, which is madness. The dark chocolate is big and bold and remains. Not the highest quality, super smooth craft chocolate you'll ever have in your life, but it's that lovely kind of rich, almost bitter dark chocolate flavour that someone who wants 70% chocolate is looking for. And that, thankfully, is also the main flavour that lingers in your mouth after having eaten it. In the middle, however, you have the same kind of smooth, creamy, milky, nutty texture as the previous bar, which is pleasant and a bit more balanced in this one because it's not that kind of cloying milk chocolate in the exterior. And the flavour you have in the middle is a buttery, milky, sweet thing that tastes of caramelised sugar. Thank fake. You have a little bit of texture in there from the crunchy hazelnut pieces, and otherwise is all that same kind of Ferrero Kinder milky, not quite chocolate, but sweet milky paste. A little bit disappointed that there wouldn't be more salt in there, but I'm glad there's no disgusting fake liquid caramel. I'm glad that they've kept it limited or not at all in terms of the artificial flavouring. The salt, a big bit, you know, what I was hoping from eating just, you know, the 3 pieces, the full strip there might be somewhere in here, but I was hoping for a bit of salt in there. You know, whether it's not kind of evenly divided with fine salt, a big flake of crunchy sea salt would be gorgeous in here. Absolutely, in terms of balance, in terms of delivering on the salted factor, it would go well with the chocolate, it would go well with the very slight hazelnut nuttiness that there is in there. It could be better. Does it fit into the kind of Ferrero Rocher category? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, this one at least offered a bit more of the nuttiness, but again, not really delivering on the chocolatiness of a Ferrero Rocher. This also almost feels like it could be, you know, something like a Raffaello in the sense that it's a product apart. It's a separate thing. Do you know what I mean? These could have a different title. They could have a different name. It's not delivering the hazelnutty factor that a Ferrero Rocher lover would be looking for, but it's definitely dark chocolate, it's definitely caramel, not quite salted caramel. On that basis, it's delivering more than what the other version was delivering, so I will happily give this one a 4 out of 5. Would I rush to buy either of these again? Probably not, mostly because the other Ferrero Rocher bars in the same line at the same price tag were a lot more satisfying. The kind of classic milk one just tastes like Christmas in every mouthful. It's gorgeous. The Raffaello one is a classic drug. These, fine and good. Nothing to write home about though, as far as I'm concerned. Do let me know if you guys have tried these bars. Do you think I'm being a bit too harsh? Are my expectations up here when they should be here? Or is this something that was promising, but just missing a little bit on execution? Let me know your thoughts. But I'm afraid that's all I have time for today, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I will see you for the next one.